can call him out. Please, the lies you have done, the mess you have done, time is up. There are areas which I had particular interest, and I think these are areas which cut across all political spheres. If we look at health services, UPC prides itself in building a wonderful health services for the people of Uganda. At that time, the target was 2.5 beds per 1,000 people, which is a very high target. Even many countries today have not hit that target. The one African country which beat us, but they beat us around 2006, was Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe went up to 3.06 beds per 1,000. But our 2.5 record of 1971 is still a high record. In Africa today, there's only Gambia, which has now reached 2.5 also beds. But that's what we're able to achieve there. Today, we're at less than 1 bed per 1,000 people. What does that translate to? If you have a major epidemic like what we had with COVID, you run into a crisis. Very quickly, the capacity is absorbed, and you're not able to do anything. Now, the key to build a successful health system is in the personnel. To recreate the UPC program, you must start with looking at the people who make that system work. UPC did so. They started on a basis where you got independence. We had less than 400 doctors, many of them expatriate, but were still able to expand the health system by 78% in order to meet the needs of the people of Uganda. That there should be ability to be able to treat a Ugandan everywhere. If I fall sick when I'm in Tororo, wherever, I should be able to find a facility. If it finds me in Kisoro, I should find a facility. I should also find a motivated staff to be able to do so. That was the UPC legacy. It started with the personnel. And the truth is, it's always personnel. The first issue is the people. That's why this UPC manifesto is about the future of the people of Uganda. Not statistics that will reach middle income status or whatever, yet people are starving, people are dying. That does not work. If the math says that you have reached the statistics, but the reality, what people are going through is not working, then it is not working. So the UPC program, to recreate it today in 2025, we must invest in the people, the health services, the people who make that health services. When Uganda had problem in the 70s, our doctors were holding up health systems all over Africa and beyond. Today, you'll find a doctor, go to Papua New Guinea, you'll find Ugandan doctors. Anywhere in the world, you find Ugandan professionals serving other people. Yet, we should create an environment where Ugandan doctors should be in Uganda serving the people of Uganda. We should create an environment where people will be proud to serve their country, but also to do so in a way whereby they can also build their families. You don't want to send a doctor to a remote corner where there's nothing, there's no opportunity. Where is he going to get the children educated? You now force a doctor to rent 2 places, one maybe in Kampala, wherever they're being posted. That is not the Uganda which we need. The Uganda which UPC stands for is the Uganda which works for every Ugandan everywhere. So when we talk our slogan, UPC everywhere, UPC everybody, it is very well calculated that anywhere in Uganda, you should be able to access these services. What is the problem today? Every now and then you're hearing doctors striking, they are not valued. For COVID, we imported a lot of equipment. There's equipment which is just boxed. We don't have the personnel. The HDU nurses, intensive care nurses, the intensive care team, they're limited. But if you had that team trained, even if you have a pandemic today, importing the equipment is very easy. From China, you can bring it in one day. But how long does it take you to train a dedicated Uganda to serve the people of Uganda? It takes a lifetime. And there's so much which has been invested in there, but that is something which people don't recognize. And how they don't recognize it, you see it in the teachers. Teachers have played a vital role in all of us here. Can you think anybody will be here without a teacher? Now we discriminate against the teachers. We send them in places where we do not provide for them. And we expect them to create the next generation which is going to take Uganda forward. Are we being mad? You're not investing, you're not building on it, and yet you expect the result. That will never happen. For Uganda to thrive, we must realize that it's the people, the children, who must invest in. We must be able to create an environment where the children can thrive and be able to achieve more than we've ever achieved. That is the art of parenting. I don't know if there's any parent here who does not want your child to do better than you did. That is life. You want to invest in your child so that the child can move forward. We must be investing in Uganda so that Uganda moves forward. We can be proud of Uganda. Am I proud of this Uganda which NRM have given us? Definitely not. I see the potential, I see the ability, but I don't see the interest to do so. That interest must come from UPC. Yes. And that's why I'm addressing you as UPC candidates. Let them, whatever they do, let you be the spark which gives the difference. Let you be the voice which shouts for the people of Uganda, which shouts for the teachers, shouts for the doctors. It's our duty, our responsibility. We are alive today. This is our time now. We must be heard. If we wait till tomorrow, then what are we going to say? You had your chance and you didn't do anything? No. I must make a difference today. And that is why I'm not walking away on this issue of the whatever games they're playing, or whatever personal issue which they've tried to put on me. Whatever pain they put me through, I am not backing down. I'm not. I cannot. If I do, who is going to speak for the people of Uganda? It's us. We have to speak to the people of Uganda, and we have to speak today, not tomorrow. Let us be active in this thing. Let us claim. Let's claim our right to play our role in the Uganda of today, so that we can shape tomorrow. Many of these issues which I'm touching on, it's not going to happen overnight, but we must start the deliberate action today in order to make the difference for tomorrow. How are we going to rebuild our school system whereby our next generation can emerge from these schools? How do we invest in the next generation, give them the right skills and knowledge to be effective, to be productive, to be able to thrive? That is the task, and that all of that I've tried to put as much of it in the manifesto. It is in the manifesto. Approaches which have worked, approaches which will address today's problem. But the central thing for a congressman is that UPC, if it does not work for the people, it is not working. First, it is central. I'll give you an example. Many here are around the lake communities. The president today is happy during the State of the Nation. I was there. He said now he's happy. The 9 factories, he's able to meet the leaders. They're now exporting fish. 9 factories. Those of you who are around the lake, do you know what you know what is happening? The families which have lived off this lake for years, people who survive off it, people who dedicate their children off it, they are being terrorized in the lake. They're being killed, others are being jailed. They're being mistreated as if this is not a resource which God gave the people of Uganda. God gave it to who? This lake was put where? Uganda. And we made it to one country by who? It is God who put us together. That this resource which is supposed to help, we have malnutrition around the lakes. And the cheapest source of protein used to be fish. Now fish is not for Ugandans, it's for export. Whose president are you? The president of those people there, or the president of people of Uganda? Mine is the people of Uganda. The rest, yes, let them take care of themselves. They also have governments there. Those governments can take care of them. But the government of Uganda must take care of the people of Uganda. Not only for today, also for tomorrow. So we must have a balanced way how we handle this resource. We must not be careless. When you take the resource carelessly, you're stealing from the next generation. You're stealing from yourself. You're stealing from your children. So we must handle these resources with responsibility. But it must benefit the people. We cannot be taking these resources out of the lake and yet we're not investing in the people. What are we going to get out of it? If that resource is investing in the people, people becoming better, they're being able to raise their families, yes, that makes sense. But the resource is being taken abroad. Access to the lake is being denied. It's being given to those who have resources. But those who have lived off this resource, what are they supposed to do? I, as a Kenyan UPC, we must not be quiet. You must speak for these people. We cannot be mistreated in our land. We cannot be denied a future for our children. This one I cannot accept. And even speaking truth to power, I'll speak the truth. I'm not going to mince my words. What you're doing is wrong. Whether you want it in whatever language and what you're doing is wrong. You're not doing it for the people. The profits you talk about, who benefits from those profits? Not the people. We need a change. The change UPCs talk about is a qualitative change which benefits the citizens of Uganda. That's my only problem. Citizens of Uganda, if they benefit, well and good. Today, in facilities, I want to live for Uganda where we'll be celebrating when a child is being born because we're ready for that child. We're ready to see that child. We're ready to raise that child. We're ready to see that child is able to perform and reach further. That's the Uganda which we must fight for as UPC. That is what is in our manifesto. Our manifesto is for the people, not to extract from the people, not to manipulate, not to control, not to dominate, but to liberate the people that they're able to thrive and succeed. That's the UPC I'm fighting for. And that's the UPC which they don't want me on the ballot because what we talk about injures them. They're there to steal. I'm sorry if I am maybe a bit animated in this, but this is something which I feel we need to address. I touched on the cattle, but I want to expand a little bit there. And here, allow me to digress and go into a little bit of history. In 1984, there was a massive drought in the Horn of Africa, which affected mainly Ethiopia, but it affected all the way to this point. In 85, around the Easter holiday, I'd been to a Kokoro to check on the animals. I went back to see my father. And most people would have remembered this, We Are the World. There was a song before that one, Do They Know It's Christmas, where artists were fundraising to support the starving people of Ethiopia. What many people do not know then, some of the food where money was raised came from Uganda. I had been in the president's office the holiday before looking for money to be able to, because I was at school in UK at the time, to be able to contribute. In that 85, there was a letter where these people were asking, what can Uganda provide? And I saw this letter in president's office, which my father showed me, and he did it in a tricky way. He first told me, there's a document I'm missing. There's a document I'm missing. Help me. So I'm looking around at this thing, but when I pick up this document and read through, I was shocked. These people, Uganda government is responding, we have these products. Next season, we're able to produce this. Where do you want delivery? We have warehouses in Mombasa. Uganda government could able to load this thing and take it up to Mombasa, the warehouse at the port, to be taken elsewhere. Today, you go to the port, you find our warehouses are being rented by others. Uganda government warehouses. But Uganda could produce extra. Logically, Ethiopia, 65 million cattle. But they struggle with grain. They struggle with this grain, which, at least for us, we can produce in abundance. Going forward, when people talk about regional trade, federation, the sort of federation we'll be looking at is how do we link with Sudan? Make sure there's peace in Sudan because there are also animals there. Make sure there's links to Ethiopia. That is how you're going to be able to build your stock much faster. But it needs to be an integrated approach where you approach the larger picture. In northern Uganda, we have this disease called, in brief, CBPP, contagious bovine pleural pneumonia. If you try to export beef anywhere, nobody will take it. Because of that CBPP, you need to eliminate it. We need to eliminate it in this whole region for us to be able to succeed. Is the government going to do it? No. So, what do we do? As UPC, we must be the ones to speak ahead of time. We must be the ones to be able to see what can work. We must be the ones to be able to build on those things. So as UPC, we have this issue of we're currently in floods. We go through these cycles of floods, what? But after floods, there's going to be drought. Drought will come. We're going to get floods, we're going to get drought. If we get a drought like what we had in 1984 today, we'll survive. If it hits Uganda, we'll not survive. So in my manifesto, we have the building up of a strategic stock to last us up to 7 years. But that strategic stock is also built on the basis of how to stabilize prices. Bank of Uganda is constantly buying and selling dollars to stabilize the dollar rate. The farmer who's growing maize, beginning of the season price is high, end of the season price collapses. We do not protect the farmer. The farmers growing cereals need to be protected. The same way, if you have a stock, the way you release and you buy, you can maintain the price and you can build a buffer stock. Uganda must have a buffer stock which can last a number of years. And when we put ourselves in a position where we are controlling the grain market, you are controlling the regional market. That, for me, that is the question of regionalization. That's a question of federalism, the federation which they're talking about. Not this federation where you're going, you're killing Sudanese, you're going, you're killing Congolese, then you're threatening to kill people even in Kenya, you're threatening to go everywhere. Stop the killing. We should be building people's lives, not tearing down. I have tools to build people's lives. I don't know how to kill. It's not my job to kill. All of us are going to die, whether we like it or not. Why are you rushing for somebody to die? We're going to die. But while I'm alive, let me have a chance to do something good for others. And if I have the ability to do it, why are you stopping me? What we've built, nobody can challenge. Nobody can really write it away. UPC has built the substance of a modern Uganda. Education, health, even agriculture, where people are able to thrive. It is all UPC. Yet you don't want UPC to set the direction for tomorrow. Do you have a direction? I don't see direction in NRA. They just know how to cling to power, steal. Now, at the end of the day, things are going to collapse. I don't want to be part of that collapse. I want to be ahead of the curve. So, my UPC, let us be ahead. Let us drive this point. I put myself on the line. Whatever they're ready to do, I'm ready to face. And when I started this journey, I started with my Avengers, as they say. I went with my Avengers, and I told my Avengers, number one, do not avenge. I don't want avenging. What my spirit is crying for is crying for Uganda, which works for the citizens of Uganda. Let me die with that in my mouth. I want a Uganda which works for all the citizens of Uganda. I don't want chaos. I am sitting on the table because of chaos. We came and we saw how people were suffering, and I could not bear it. That is how I got engaged in the peace process, because I saw this is not right for the people of Uganda. Can I stop now? No. Yes, the war has stopped, but people's lives have not improved sufficiently. That is why we're still in politics. That is why we're fighting. That's why we're campaigning. campaigning. That is why we're coming up with ideas to develop Uganda. And still, you are uncomfortable. What is your problem? I mean, the way I read the problem as PLU. For me, it is PLU. And if you've been following, I normally don't like to mention names. But those of you who've been on this forum, the spokesperson for PLU, Lango, do you read some of what he writes? Oyite. He goes by the name Oyite Emmanuel. Some of what he writes has alarmed me. He argued that Obote in 1980 should have stepped aside and left somebody else to lead. In 1980, Obote was locked out. Kampala fell in 79 April. Obote did not step foot in Uganda until end of May of 1980. People on the ground moving, preparing. Those of you who are in politics, and you find this time and time again, there are politicians who are sitting back, they leave an assistant on the ground. When they wake up, the assistant has taken the constituency. It happens all the time. Now, somebody is power, you are in Tanzania. And they say, no, Obote came with ideas to lift Uganda. There was a crisis, 1979, 80. The economy had collapsed. The only idea which lifted Uganda was Obote's idea. Museveni was ready for the bush. Museveni wanted to go for the bush. But this Oyite, he keeps saying, Obote should have stood aside. Left it for who? Museveni has been here for 40 years. Has he solved the problems? No. Each time he's blaming, oh no, I didn't know that. All these people, everybody is going to blame. This cattle now is looking for people to blame. He has failed to do it. Next, he's going to say, these people. You cannot do it. If you can't, please, just move. Yes. So Oyite keeps on insisting that Obote should have stepped aside. Oyite argues that Pulisikira, Obote's mother, but Pulisikira was violated because Obote did not leave politics. What do you want to do to my people? Because I am not leaving politics. What do you want to do to them? This PLU, I don't understand what they're doing. Why? I'm angry. I'm bitter. Now you want to make me worse? For what? You want things to start getting worse? I'm not going that way. I am trying to talk. What do you do? I'm going to talk about a Uganda which works for Ugandans. However much pain I feel, I am talking about Uganda which works for Uganda. You're not going to deter me. You're not going to change my direction. I have a purpose, I have a mission, I have a direction. Whatever nonsense you bring, please take it out of the way. And if you want to hide behind the president, you come out and stand firm. Stand like the rest of us. Hiding behind the president to block. Who do you think you are? If you have ideas, put them there. That's the purpose of an election. For me, I will campaign bitterly. When the election is over, it is over. I'm waiting for the next election. Yes. And for you, my flag bearers, ask among others who have not campaigned with. When you hold my flag, I am with you. Yes. Whatever happens, I am with you. There's nothing which will come in between, whether family, what? No. UPC flag bearer, that is mine up to the end. So I cannot abandon the UPC flag bearer. I cannot abandon the UPC message. The only way you stop me is you put me in the ground. And until you do so, I will keep talking. I'll keep moving. I'll keep on your case. Uganda must work for Ugandans. Yes. That is all. That's the minimum issue. But why? Why are we doing this for Uganda? I believe in Uganda. Like I said before, I'm always Team Uganda. Number one, I'm Team Uganda. When Uganda succeeds, I am happy. I don't know why these people, there are people who seem to be happy when people are struggling. You find young people struggling with a loan at 40%. Somebody is happy because he's eating that money. Please, let us ease the issue for the people of Uganda. Interest rates need to be dealt with. You cannot be charging your people such an interest rate where they cannot survive. I'll be sharing all the details in the manifesto. Nothing I've touched on is not in the manifesto, and there's a lot more. There's just one item which I want to touch on, which, to say I'm quite proud of myself. It's an innovative way in which we want to increase the housing available, especially to public servants who move a lot. I am targeting teachers, I'm targeting police, I'm targeting army, I'm targeting those who may be deployed anywhere in the country. And here we're mixing an issue between a mobile home and a fixed asset, and bridging it between a mortgage finance and an asset finance arrangement. Minimum entry point which we're looking at 500,000 a month, somebody will be able to own a property in 10 years. And that property can be delivered in any corner of Uganda, depending on where the deployment is. People who we've targeted, police. You find police living in... you can't even describe it. You find teachers is posted somewhere, there is no place for the teacher to live decently. And it's now the teacher supposed to carry respect. You have medical officers deposited to some clinic in a remote place. There is no housing. This housing where somebody is able to own is also an asset. The unfortunate thing is that these people, Platinum, will start now charging these people the 2.8% whatever, but still, at least somebody will have an asset. And I'll challenge people, take the idea. If UPC is talking nonsense, you can rubbish it the same way I've rubbished this cattle thing. But I can tell the people of Uganda, this is a true promise which is workable, it is bankable. And that's one thing about UPC. UPC plans have always been bankable. That's what distinguishes us from other parties. We present a program which is bankable, workable. Not talk, then you come back, you blame somebody else, then you come back another thing. Every time we've gone through this thing, I don't know what, this time he has changed the program of PDM, he's just saying he's going to add more money for PDM. Before PDM it was OWC, before OWC it was NAT, before NAT it was, I don't know if you go, all of this, we keep changing because it's not working. You just keep on just reinventing, changing the name. When you change the name, if the substance is wrong, it will not be right. It will never be right. And you as flag bearers, you've got the right flag, you've got the right party. I ask you, carry that flag proudly, build on, inspire the next generation to continue where you're going to stop. I will do my part as best as I can, but I also promise you, I will not spare the president. So anybody who is saying I should spare the president, it's not in my vocabulary. I am also putting it here, those who wanted to vote for me, who are deciding to vote for me, who are supporting me, don't think of giving my vote to the president. Do not give it. We will discuss how we're going to sort out this, but do not give my vote to the president. That vote is for the people. Are you? UPC. UPC. Apoio.
Oh, UPC, oh, mama, oh, UPC, the Congress of the People, Uganda, Yona. Oh, UPC, Congress of the People, everywhere, everybody, all of us, Jima Kena, Beta Mongi, Brother Bill, Okelo, Lemba, Lango, Busoga, Angole, Acholi, everywhere. Thank you so much, Mr. President, for that wonderful address. The President has allowed that in case you want to seek for any clarifications or any questions regarding to what he has just taken us through, as you prepare for your campaigns next week officially, because UPC is a part of ideas, one of the strongest pillars, ideas. And you're here to receive ideas so that our campaigns is issue-based as opposed to other issues, as he has been elaborating and guiding us on how we're going to proceed with our campaigns. And I want to open the floor for you, for those who may be having questions, who may be seeking for clarifications. The President has allowed that he will give you the opportunity to respond. If any. Yes.
Mr. President, thank you very much for the address. Mr. President, thank you very much for the address. The members of Parliament who are here, the different candidates for Parliament, LC5 and the mayors under the UPC party. My name is Awachan Thomas Ayei. I come from Kalaki district. I'm the flag bearer for UPC. Mr. President, we thank you for this address. What I wanted to say is that this is the right moment for you. This is the right moment for all change-seeking forces to realize the change that the citizens of Uganda have been fighting for. We should not flinch. We should not cower. Mr. President, let's continue. All the wasted years of the struggles, I think this is the time for us to achieve the desire for change, the desire for unity, the desire for development. I believe that you have come at the right moment. Be strong and let's move on. The people of Uganda are ready. And your message that you have kept sharing with us in Kampala or even in places like Kalaki, it resonates with the people, and I can give you feedback. If there was an accident that they would have put you on the ballot in Kalaki, the UPC was going to trounce the NRM in Kalaki. I want to speak for Kalaki. So let's keep the struggle on. The only thing that I am foreseeing is that as we move forward, the struggle is going to get tougher. Some of you might find yourselves arrested. You must be ready for that. The NRM is not interested in the truth. When you speak the truth, you become an enemy. So, Mr. President, be ready for many things. Some of us gave our lives for the struggle a long time ago. As I sit down, I only want to say this, that as much as we can, let the party stand with us. Let the party support us. And when we fall into the hands of these people, let the party come and say, this is my flag bearer, and he or she was for my message. I thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for your address. That word you have spoken today is what all of us here were waiting to hear. And I can assure you that for the sake of the revolution we need for this country, that is the statement we deserve to hear today. And me as a young person, I am happy and very confident, and we are ready for this battle. Whatever it will cost me as a person, we are going to go for it. Because even if we run away from the truth, it will still catch up with us. Everybody has tried dodging this truth, and it is catching up with us. It is catching up with our children. It will go to our grandchildren. Then what is going to happen? We are not ready to bury Uganda. And I have heard on very many platforms when you were coming to launch your manifesto, and people were asking, why is he launching? Your Excellency, the party is not dead. We are going to carry the message of UPC, which is the message of hope to the people. We are going to be your mouthpiece where you are not. And I can assure you that in every angle of this country where we are going to speak from, the world is going to be shaking. We have no fear about this. And still in that manner, we are still, during this time of campaigns, we are still demanding for your nomination. Whatever it will take us, we still want you on ballot. We are not giving up on this matter. We know they are just seated on a pen and paper, but we are still demanding for your nomination, for you to be on ballot. You are the hope we need. Even if they are visiting us, we are depressed by the kind of messages they are giving us. In Kabiramai, they were asking us whether we eat the road. Why are we demanding for Cherokat in the road? Do you eat the road? Excuse me, when I'm going for business, do I follow the air or I use the road? Is that the kind of message the people of Uganda deserve to hear? I stand on this, and I want to assure you, and I want to call upon all the Congress members, stand on your feet, speak the truth, and the truth will set you free. And I can assure you that when you tell the locals the truth, they will vote for you because they know that you're voting for the truth. Thank you very much, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, sir. Allow me to take this opportunity to thank you heartedly for the great work that you have done, for mobilizing the party right from day one when you landed in Uganda. I'm one of the child you picked when you lasted for the war in northern part of Uganda. We were displaced in Apache. You came to Chemegaos. I walked 280 kilometers. Honorable Minister seated here. I remember very well. She distributed for us blankets and other things. As women, we are ready to mobilize. We are not going to leave any stone unturned. We are ready on the ground. I decided to leave Leracity back in the village. In Alepton, many of people were killed, and many of children were raped and displaced, and many of women were scattered. All their life were scattered. The day when you came to Alepton, when you lay a rave at the people of Abiamaski, we saw the bullet. I witnessed that bullet. And as I'm back in the village, my father was a rich man, used to rear cattle. But right now, there's nothing. There's nothing at our home. And we want to appeal to you that this election is be a different election you have ever seen. As young people, we are ready on the ground. For you not to be on ballot, I believe that it was just like a trick that people never wanted you to be on ballot. But I want to assure you, we are already on ballot. I promise, and I say that, come sunshine, come rain, whatever it takes, whether you're not on ballot, I'm going to speak I'm going to speak to your gospel. I'll make sure that I mobilize across the region, whether in Karamojo, whether in West Nile, whether in Acholi, whether in Teso, your message will reach there, because I know that you rescue our life as young people. And right now, as I'm speaking, there are a lot of things happening. They are threatening some of us. They are using, I believe some of other people, they are here in the name of UPC. They have been pretending that they are UPC, but they are spy. But I want to assure you that this is just a beginning. This is just a war that, the war which has started on you, we the young people, we are the one going to finish. I beg to submit. We are ready to work. We are ready to mobilize. The women who are here, you should wake up. We should carry the mandate. We should ensure that UPC will not die in our regime. I'm ready to die with UPC. There's nothing that I'm looking for. I beg to submit.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to stand. Thank you for the chance for nomination. I would like to say that we are in a war, a clear war, and that means that we have to display all tactics. For me, I am contesting for woman MP of Kalaki and famously known as the Nunuku. I'm ready to move with the manifesto, that empowerment that we have been handed, door to door. Talk about the UPC plan, because it is the living plan. Hallelujah. Yes, this is the gospel of UPC, and it is the one to take Uganda to the next level, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready to use my energy, go door to door, but this is my request. As UPC, let us unite.
Thank you so much, colleagues. For interest of time.